This video is brought to you by Global Men's Wellness, your 24/7 AI health expert. No copays, waiting rooms, or awkward conversations. Just real answers whenever you need them. Visit globalmenswellness.com to try it free and get your own on-demand concierge-level wellness expert today.
Welcome to the 21st Century Man podcast. We're taking a deep dive, chapter by chapter, into the book, The 21st Century Man.
And today, we're digging into chapter 72. It's called How to Listen Better, and it's written by Beaver, who's a licensed marriage and family therapist.
Right. And our mission here is, well, to really unpack what this chapter offers, looking at how we listen, how we sometimes, frankly, don't listen so well. And then, crucially, pull out those, actionable things we can actually do to improve this skill.
Because Beaver makes it super clear this isn't just about, good manners. Listening well is fundamental for healthier relationships. It's practical.
Okay, let's get into it then. The chapter kicks off with a quote. It's from Simon Sinek. There is a difference between listening and waiting for your turn to speak. It kind of hits home, right?
Oh, absolutely. It perfectly sets the stage. And Beaver's main point is pretty bold. If you had to pick just one skill to work on for better relationships, it's listening.
One skill, wow.
Yeah. He calls it elusive, hard for a lot of people, but mastering it gives you this different kind of power, even charisma.
Power and charisma from listening. That's not usually how we think about it.
Exactly. It's the power that comes from making someone feel genuinely seen, truly heard. He talks about what he sees all the time in therapy, couples just frustrated, discussions going nowhere, ending in arguments, feeling stuck, angry.
That feeling of just hitting a brick wall.
Right. And so often the key is helping them find that listening skill again. When they start to really listen, things change. The tension goes down.
People can actually relax a bit.
Yeah, they relax. They remember why they're connected in the first place. It helps diffuse the conflict. It highlights the bond, makes the other person feel understood, acknowledged. It affirms the whole relationship.
So it's less about fixing one specific argument and more about rebuilding that connection channel. Okay, so the chapter then breaks listening down into different types.
Yes, which is really helpful for sort of diagnosing yourself, you could say. It gives quick definitions.
Starting with the one we're probably all guilty of sometimes.
Or maybe often. Distracted listening.
Right. Describe that one.
So this is when you're, physically there, but mentally you're checked out, you're thinking about work, scrolling your phone, trying to multitask while they're talking.
Just catching bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Like a listening drive-by, he calls it.
Exactly. And inside you might be thinking, is this conversation really worth my full focus right now? Probably not.
We rationalize it.
We do. And the chapter points out we might listen better at work, maybe because there's less emotional baggage, more structure.
Yeah, maybe feels less complex.
Right. But we think, well, that superficial listening works there, so why isn't it good enough for my partner?
But the impact is totally different at home.
Huge difference. It creates this negative loop. You get distance, frustration builds up, and suddenly you're looking at that disconnect, that potential divorce statistic the author warns about.
And what does it look like on the outside? The body language.
Oh, it's obvious. Looking away a lot, maybe quick glances, but mostly at a screen. Very little real eye contact. Your posture might be turned away.
Sends a clear message. And internally.
You're mostly focused on yourself, your own agenda, your thoughts, maybe even feeling a little indignant, like how dare they interrupt me. You might toss out a half-hearted, just hoping they'll stop.
Can't they see I'm busy? That thought feels familiar and, a bit uncomfortable.
It is. But think about the message that sends, even accidentally.
What is it communicating?
It's pretty harsh, unfortunately. Things like, you're not important right now. I don't really care about this. What you're saying isn't valuable to me. Other stuff is more interesting. I don't respect you enough to give you my attention.
Oof, okay. That's tough to hear, but important to recognize.
Yeah.
So the listening filter here is just wide open. Stuff goes in one ear and out the other.
Pretty much. Most of what's being said just flows right through. It doesn't stick, isn't examined. The chapter really flags this as a pattern we need to avoid.
Okay, so that's the baseline, the one to move away from. What's the next level up?
That would be fact-based listening. Now, here you are paying more attention. You're less distracted. Maybe you're fully present, actually.
Okay.
But your focus is primarily on the facts, the details, the sort of informational content of what's being said.
So you're hearing the words, the data points.
Yes. You can probably repeat back the details accurately. You might share your own perspective based on those facts, ask questions to get more facts, clarify specifics.
The underlying thought process is maybe if I get the facts right, they'll feel heard.
Kind of, yeah. The belief is that reflecting back the information is the best way to show you're listening.
And the body language here is probably better.
Oh, definitely more engaged. You're likely looking at the person, maybe nodding along as you process the information, showing you're receiving the data.
What's happening inside your head in this mode?
You're really focused on tracking those details, understanding the specifics. You might get a hint of the feeling behind it, but your main interest, your main processing power is on the what, not the how they feel about the what.
You're getting the minutes of the meeting, but not the emotional temperature of the room.
That's a great way to put it. So what you do communicate is interest, that you value getting the details correct, that accuracy is important. That's good. But you might also inadvertently communicate a sort of discomfort or fear around stepping into the feeling arena, as the chapter calls it.
Ah, okay. So the listening filter here is different again.
Right. It's set to capture data, facts, specifics. But the emotions, the underlying feelings, the deeper meaning, a lot of that might still pass through. So it's a step up, definitely shows more engagement than being distracted, but it's still missing a really vital layer.
Which brings us to the third type, the one the chapter really holds up as the goal.
Reflective listening. This is where it gets more intimate, deeper. It's about capturing both the details, the content, and the emotions connected to it.
Listening for facts and feelings simultaneously.
Exactly. You're listening to what they're saying, the story, the information, but you're also actively trying to identify the feelings. Sometimes they'll state them clearly. I felt angry. I was sad.
Sure.
Other times, the emotion is kind of embedded. It's implied. And in those cases, the chapter suggests you make an educated guess.
Guessing someone else's feelings sounds risky. What if you're totally off base?
That's the really cool part, actually. The chapter argues that even if your guess is wrong, the act of trying to understand the emotional state is incredibly powerful.
Oh, so?
It shows you're willing to engage on that deeper level, that you're genuinely interested not just in the story, but in their inner experience. It builds connection. It actually encourages them to clarify or share more. The effort itself is validating.
Wow, okay. So the attempt matters more than being right. What are some simple ways, like phrases the chapter suggests, to show you're trying to listen reflectively?
It gives some really good simple ones. Things like, yes, I hear you. Or, that makes sense. Interesting. Fair enough. Even just, yep, yeah.
Little verbal nods?
Exactly. Or, tell me more. Okay, now I understand. Or, I think I'm getting a clearer picture. These signal you're tracking both things, the facts, and trying to grasp the feeling.
And the nonverbals for reflective listening. What does that look like?
It's described as being all in. Your whole presence communicates focus and interest. You're looking right at them, noticing their facial expressions, their body language, their tone. You're trying to be in sync, in rhythm with them.
They can feel that you're really there.
Yes, they feel your presence, your attunement. You're giving those affirmative nods, those verbal cues we mentioned. You're essentially tending to them, nurturing the connection through listening.
So inside your head, what are you juggling?
You're tracking the content, the facts, the story. You're tracking the emotions connected to those facts, and you're thinking about the implications, the so what of it all. It's multi-level processing.
And the message this sends, compared to the other types.
It's a world of difference. It communicates. You are important. What you say matters deeply. You have value. You are absolutely worth my full energy and attention right now.
Right.
And I'm not afraid to step into the emotional stuff with you. Your feelings are valid, they matter, and there's space for them here. I want to understand.
Yeah, that's profound. The listening filter here must be catching almost everything.
Exactly. It's calibrated to capture the details and the emotions. Much more adheres, much more sticks. You're gathering all this information, and the key action then is to pause at a natural point and sort of feed it back.
How do you do that?
You summarize what you heard, both the content and the emotions you picked up on, in a thoughtful way. Like, okay, so it sounds like when X happened, you felt Y. Is that right?
Okay, I get the what and the why now.
Yeah.
Reflective listening sounds amazing, but honestly also kind of challenging to do consistently.
It definitely is a skill to be learned, yeah.
So how do we actually practice this? The chapter gives some really concrete steps, doesn't it? Like a roadmap.
It does, which is fantastic. Step 1, you need dedicated time, uninterrupted. The suggestion is maybe once or twice a week, find 30, 45 minutes specifically with your primary partner if you have one.
And the focus is explicitly on practicing this.
Yes. Focus on listening for both content and emotion. And Beaver is very clear. Be patient. You won't feel immediate success. This stuff takes time.
Patience from the get-go. Okay. How do you even initiate that conversation, suggesting this focused time?
Keep it gentle, inviting, hopeful. The book suggests things like, hey, I was wondering if you'd be open to us sitting down sometime this week just to chat and connect. Or maybe we could catch up properly soon. I'd love to just talk.
Keep it low pressure.
Yeah.
And then step 3 is crucial.
Absolutely critical. Put all distractions away, phones off, notifications silenced, TV off. Find a neutral spot where you won't be disturbed.
And the chapter also mentions acknowledging your own feelings.
Yes. This is interesting. If you feel awkward or anxious or nervous about trying this new way of listening, which is totally normal, acknowledge it. First to yourself, then maybe share it.
How does sharing it help?
The author says owning your own emotion, like saying, I feel a bit awkward trying this, can actually reduce tension and create more openness. It's vulnerable, but it helps.
Okay, that makes sense. So once you're in the conversation, how do you use the language? The reflective part.
Use those clarifying questions, but keep them open-ended. And use summary statements, like, let me see if I got that right, or, okay, if I could try and summarize.
If we're guessing the emotion.
Soften it. Use phrases like, I'm sensing maybe you felt frustrated about that, or I'm just venturing a guess here, but it sounds like that might have been hurtful, or even, I'm new at this, but I was wondering if you felt.
So it's not about being a mind reader, but showing you're trying to tune into that emotional frequency.
Precisely. The effort is what builds the bridge. Now, another key point. Pay attention to the feelings that come up inside you while you're listening.
Right, because hearing intense stuff can trigger our own reactions.
Totally normal. The chapter stresses that strong feelings will likely surge inside you.
So what do you do with them? You can't just ignore them, but you're supposed to be focused on the other person.
This is maybe the trickiest part. The advice is, do your best not to let the wave of emotion overwhelm your focus. Let that first, maybe intense wave just pass through you.
Write it out internally.
Yeah. Notice the second or third wave, which is often less intense. Then, assess if your emotion has eased enough for you to respond thoughtfully from a balanced place, rather than reacting from that peak feeling.
So resist that immediate urge to jump in, especially if you feel defensive.
Absolutely. Big one. Resist the urge to retaliate, to correct them, to offer your counterpoint immediately, even if you strongly disagree or feel like you're being unfairly targeted.
Wow. When do you get to respond then?
The chapter suggests that time for rebuttal is much later, maybe even never, once reflective listening becomes a consistent habit. Often, the need to rebut dissolves when connection is restored.
That requires some serious self-control.
It really does. Which leads to action step number 9. Find that internal strength. Patience, persistence, practice. You have to fight the urge to just give up if it feels hard, or if your partner doesn't immediately respond positively.
Don't take it personally.
Try not to. Taking it personally activates that fight, flight, freeze response, which shuts down reflective listening completely.
And if you stumble, if it doesn't go well.
Simple. Try again. That's step 10. Go back to the list, reread the steps. Remind yourself why this matters for your relationship, for your quality of life. Acknowledge the frustration, then step back in and try again.
Persistence is key.
It really is. The whole chapter emphasizes this isn't a quick fix. It's a skill. Like learning an instrument or a sport, it takes time, dedication, patience with yourself, patience with your partner.
You might feel frustrated, dismayed.
Yeah, the chapter uses that image. Sometimes, as a man, you need to stand up and face the hurricane. It won't always be easy.
You got to find those inner resources.
Exactly. Persist. Create those new neural pathways for communication. Don't let the doubt win. Keep the goal in mind. A better connection, a better quality of life together.
And there's research on how long this stuff takes, right?
Yeah, he cites a study from University College London. It found habit formation takes, on average, about 66 days. But the range was huge, anywhere from 18 days to like 254 days.
So definitely not overnight. It requires consistent, persistent practice.
Absolutely.
You know, this chapter, How to Listen Better, and frankly, the whole book, The 21st Century Man, it just offers such clear, practical, really valuable stuff on a skill that's just foundational.
It really does. Brett Beaver does a great job of taking something complex and making it understandable, giving you actual steps you can take. It's incredibly useful.
So if you're listening and thinking, yeah, I could probably improve my listening, or I want better connection, we really recommend checking out The 21st Century Man.
Definitely worth exploring. There's a lot more gold in there.
This deep dive really underscores how much power there is in just shifting our focus to how we listen. Not just hearing words, but engaging with the whole person, content, and emotion.
It truly can be transformative for your relationships.
So here's a thought to leave you with. Thinking about that habit research, 66 days on average. What's maybe one small, persistent practice from this chapter you could commit to starting, like today? Just one small step towards cultivating reflective listening.
Something to really mull over.
Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive into Chapter 72 of The 21st Century Man. Please join us next time on the 21st Century Man podcast, where we'll be tackling Chapter 73, A Guy's Guide to Menopause.
Looking forward to it. Thanks for listening.
Take control of your health anytime, anywhere. Visit globalmenswellness.com and start your free trial today. Get expert-level answers in seconds, not weeks, without the cost, the wait, or the awkward conversations. Real support on your terms. Visit globalmenswellness.com now.